Fritz. I'm here to tell you a story, the true story of what really happened about Star Wars. Uh, Star Wars has been infringed upon by the clone enemy. A lot of people are calling them reptilians. They replicate humans, and they wanted this on them for their own propaganda for human genocide. That there's what they're into. I worked on this film back in 1960. I was with Glenn Steelman, Carl Steelmen, and Carla Steelmen is the Steelman family, and we began filming this out on the Bonneville salt flats. And it's what my objective was, is to try to get the clones out. Mormons are clones. They're from Zootah, and they have cloning facilities beyond your belief. A lot of them are out of caves. Is where they do a lot of their cloning, and I hated them because they're old mayhemers. They come after us humans and butcher us off. So I came up with this idea of trying to get the clones into the movie to get them outside the caves to where I can come and strike them and kill them. And so that they're, the clone administrators finally found a use for their piece of shit, their worthless garbage that they're making. A Mormon is a salamander. That there is when they get their names from. And they transform into their intended victim. It's going to be a human form. And Mormons got their name from salamander that croaks, Mormon, Mormon, because I checked that out up in Illinois. I found them, and they grow about 6 to 7 feet long. They're gray and white speckled, and they're dangerous. So anyhow, it was me and the Steelmans, and they were from the Bonneville nickel and dime store back then. They had a nickel and dime store shop. And we got together on it. I used them for procurement of mayhems and clones. We also did Conan the Barbarian back then, which was infringed upon by Schwarzenegger, and he's on Reptilian YouTube right now. But Luke Air Force Base gave me my air code as Skywalker. And because I was about 3 or 4 years old, and before I learned how to ride a bike, I learned how to fly a combat jet aircraft. And it really dawned on me when another soldier gave me a bicycle to ride it. I wasn't able to balance it. I fell down, but I just got through flying one of his combat jets. I was working through the Army Reserves, and I'd never been to school, and it pisses the fuck out of Luke Air Force Base airmen, and they come and attack me, and it's kind of hard for me to defend myself, but I have an aircraft, and I'm defending aircraft, and I go right back after them and shoot down as many as I can. But I had to go on a long-range bombing mission, and I had to use a different type of aircraft. So I snuck under the fence, and I acquired the aircraft and took off. And I took some damage on it, and I was coming back, and I was not able to land it due to the airfoil on it had been severed. And I had another guy from my base come up there and take a look at it, and he says the only way that you're going to be able to land it is to get up there with the toolbox and fix it, climb out on the wing. So I went, so I opened up the hatch, and I had the toolbox, and I walked out onto the wing while we're flying about 12,000 feet, maybe 16,000 feet, and I fixed it so I would be able to land it. And the guy was with me, I think it was Rick. He was really a smart genius when it comes to being a killer soldier. He knows how to do things. He talked to Luke Air Force Base and softened them up so they wouldn't come back after me. So whenever I was flying, they don't know who's in the jet, and it's going to be a new. Whoops! Come back! Ooh! I got another ugly bug there. so is what they're thinking. So my name, my air code was Luke Skywalker. Well, no, my name was Skywalker. My air code was, and that was from Luke. And so that there is my stamp on the movie. And so this Lucas guy here, he's going to be a Black Widow or some other zoobamanation, but he wants that. And my show, Star Wars, ran for 3 years uh, in the Broadway Theater in Salt Lake City, Zootah. And I couldn't believe it myself, but it was running for that long. And then we did a follow-up with that. Also the lightsaber, that mine is real. The one that I had, it was real, and we cut right through a car. And I was a master swordsman from Arabia at that time, and I couldn't find anyone I could get into a sword fight who would kept up with my skill. So I talked to my friends in Arabia, and they found me a swordman who would enter into the show, and he was from Syria. And that guy there, well, I brought on a welding respirator mask to wear, for the show, and that there is what the guy was wearing. But I had a real lightsaber, and I can still make one here today. As soon as I get some money, I probably will. That we just cut right through metal because we had an aircraft out there that that had crashed and it had a plutonium bomb still on board. Nobody knew that, but the Air Force just left it. There was a big bomber plane, and there's where we staged most of the show. And later on, I ignited the bomb, but. But where Jedi comes from, it's not Jedi. That was Glenn Steelman who changed the name to give it some kink on that. It was because I had a clone overrun of murderers on the set, and I had to acquire some weapon to kill them off. And so I had to go up to Hill Air Force Base and grab a jet. And so anyhow, I got there, and when I was getting into the jet, this guy comes out and he says, "Hey, you can't take that." And I said, "Yes, I can. I'm the 311 militia airman, And so he starts to arguing with me, and we keep on, arguing back and forth. And I got some friendly people out there on the salt flats that were being killed. And I finally got to this. I put my finger at myself. I said, "Jet, I take," a jet eye, So, and the guy gives up, and he goes away. I jump in the jet, and I blast off there to the Bonneville salt flats. And then a squadron from Hill Air Force Base overtake me, and they're saying Jedi, and they were making up this stuff, and on the radio, I thought they might attack me or not, but anyhow, they're making this Jedi night, and they're looking into the future, saying it's going to really be something. And the guys were right. They had some precognitiveness of what was going to happen. So we get out to the salt flats, and I say, we got, an enemy below us, and the guy says there's nothing down there but sagebrush. And I said, sagebrush does not grow on the assault flats. I said, turn on your ground remote biosensors. And the guy did, and everyone takes a shit fit. And so we strapped and bombed what we could, around about 3,000 or was it 30,000 clones. It was in my movie. And it's where the force comes from. It comes from a guy from Hill Air Force Base who was having philosophical dreams or philosophical thoughts about what was going on, and he says, this here is the Air Force. Will the Force be on your side? The Air Force, and that there is when they come up with the Force. And there were Marines on that show. And when Darth Vader says he's grabbing it with his fist and he's choking him, that there is not so. Some Mormon had slipped one of the Marines some poison, and the guy gagged on it, and he died. He killed himself. But the other guy was up there with his fist making a hand as Darth Vader. There was another guy wearing his suit, the other swordsman suit. And what else can I say about that? Well, later on, I was down in Kentucky or someplace to follow a copyright, and I went about 75 miles away from there, and I was trying to find a place to live, and I found this one place out there, sort of like in the sticks. And this one black guy says, don't go in that house, don't live there because we've got trees that eat you. Well, it turned out to be right, and there's these trees that were about 100 feet tall that would move around and you pick up people and eat you. I saw this one black guy got eaten by this tree. And you wake up in the morning and there's this tree banging on your window and there's no wind, and it gets to be frightening. So anyhow, I called in for support. I called in the Marine Air Force, and they came out to bomb it, and they couldn't believe it. And I said, well, to take a bearing on that tree, just take off for about 10 minutes and then come back around and take another long reading on it. And because I tell you, the trees are moving. And so the guy did that, came back, and he about had a shit fit, and then he started blowing up these trees, And they're not really trees, they're some alien life form. And that there is where these ortho walkers came in at. Because we sat down after the battle and we started thinking about how to put it into a movie, and this one guy was saying, well, how about if there were men inside of it, up there on the top? And so we threw that into the next Star Wars movie. I think I got some of the ideas out about what happened, but this here has been taken over by an enemy who replicates humans, and then will take anything you've got, including your media, and try to put it on them, and try to take it out, sell it, and try to genocide us humans. So that there is an idea. It's old fraud. It's old, that Lucas. These guys. It's what happens when they come back. They put your head out, and they give you such a horrible time for years on end. Stun gun attacks, taser attacks, all this stuff. And it's like 3 to 4 attacks a day by groups, about 5 or 6 of them from Hollywood. And this here is not the only one I've been attacked on for them to infringe on my movie and scalp my brain out. And there's been Conan the Barbarian. There's been, what was that one? I was co-conducted Montenegro's The Good, the Bad, and the Brutal. And back in 1960, everyone was playing it, and we were playing it at bars, big signs, everything. And then the Pope comes up with this Maricon, and he kills off half the orchestra, if not, about 90% of them. And then he writes over the top of it that they were the actual orchestration of it, and it wasn't. It was Montenegro, and I was a co-conductor of it. But there's a lot of Hollywood fraud going on. Well, that's it for now. I'm not lying to you either. Let's see. Let me shut down. Which way go? Okay.